Good. Fly. Away.
Let's just go run through them to scare them all away.
No.
Shut up!
Yelling at them is not going to help.
I'm getting it, Will.
Fine, go.
Go away.
Yeah, that.
Next time I'll put them in concentration camps.
Nah.
You're just gonna keep the sunglasses on the whole time because of the sun?
It's too bright.
We just saw Oppenheimer.
During the day.
During the day this time, yeah. We didn't want to skip another stream. Like we said, maybe, but now we feel like doing more Final Fantasy tonight. No more skipping streams.
I mean, also because I have to work super early in the morning and denied you going at night, so.
Yeah.
But today was a cheap day, so we might as well go. And also, I would like to point out that our Ultra EVX theater is so much nicer than the regular theaters. I didn't feel like I had to plug my ears like for the entire movie this time.
It was pretty loud. What do you mean?
No, it was really listen. Like, I'm not saying it wasn't loud because all the theaters are loud, but like for all the rest of the movies we've seen that are not in that theater, they've all been just like, I need to bring earplugs. I totally forgot, of course, because of course I did.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to, like, I didn't like feel the extreme need to have them this time, which was nice.
Yeah. Okay.
And
So
also the seats are more comfy.
before we talk about Oppenheimer the movie, I do want to spend a couple minutes talking about the experience because yes, we came here. There was the Ultra AVX theater. I don't know if Americans know what that is. Is it like a Canadian only thing, like Silver City only? I don't know.
Special theater.
Anyway, it's a theater with wider seats that have more cushion. You can
They recline.
You can lean back in them if you want. It's very nice. However, the downside is that you have to like.
They're more expensive tickets.
They're more expensive tickets, and also they like strictly assign you seats.
With all the other ones strictly assign you seats.
Yeah, but people miss them. We move them around all the time.
Literally, people moved around this time.
Yes, and that's the second thing that I pointed out. Is that, okay, so we got into the movie like a minute late.
Oh no, we got into the movie like 5 minutes late. It was already into the movie.
Yeah, it was into the movie, but
when
like,
we walked in the
clearly,
theater.
It was clearly at the start, though. Like, we missed like one scene. We missed like one scene in the movie.
I don't know, with the way that movie went, I'm sure we missed more than one scene.
Okay, well, hold on. We'll get to that in a minute. Like, we get in there, and it's like, we definitely missed the start of the movie, but we missed it like only a minute or two, because it was very clearly the start of the movie, and we're coming in, and like, it's. The scene that we were on, I think it's like the first scene. So it was just like stars and space and like darkness, and it's like the narration of the opening. So it felt like the opening of the movie. But the point is that we walk in and we have our popcorn, and I'm like,
and it's dark.
I can't fucking see a single thing.
We literally
like,
could not see.
Like, where are we going? And like, Naomi, you just take off into the darkness, and like, there's no lights on the floor or anything.
Yeah, I was surprised.
We had to wait
by
for
that.
flashes in the movie so I could see like, oh, there's the stairs. Okay, here we go. Like, I was like just wandering in the darkness, like no clue where we were.
Well, I knew what seats we had picked, so I went over there, and then I noticed that I was like, I think those are our seats, but there's people sitting in them, so I just went to like the next empty row.
Yeah, and I just followed you, thinking that you knew where we were going.
I did.
So I sat
Not my
beside
fault.
you.
People were in our seats.
Yeah, I sat beside you, and then I was like, about 10 or 15 minutes into the movie, I was like, hold on. I recall when we bought these tickets, they were very strict. Like, okay, it's Ultra AVX. Like, you really got to sit where you're assigned. You can't have like one person but beside. Like, they were very. And I was like, hold on.
That has been every other movie theater.
I have not seen that for the regular shows.
That's because all of the shows we go to are empty.
Maybe so. Okay, here. By my estimation, which might be wrong.
You're dumb and wrong.
Fine, I'm dumb and wrong. But by my estimation, that might be wrong. What I remember is that in the regular theater, you can just kind of like, yeah, it tells you where to go, but it's like more of a suggestion. You can kind of sit wherever you want.
No.
However, for the Ultra AVX, they're like, no, you sit here. It's like an airline. You sit here, you know? And so, here. Fine. Even then, even if it was, just, it's always the same. My point's still the same. Because we got there, and there was already people in our seats.
Yes, there were. It was very annoying.
Yeah, because I chose those seats because of that railing they were putting their feet up on, so you could put your feet up on it.
Yeah, I know.
Rather than put your feet on me, which is what you did.
Well, listen, to be fair,
I'm just teasing
if you were so insistent about letting me put my feet up on other things, we could sit on the sides. You never want to sit on the sides.
Oh, yeah, because you're too far off to the side. You have to be straight on the movie, man.
Why?
Because it's a good experience. And there was these two fucking e-girls, and they ended up being e-girls, all right? There was the two fucking e-girls, all right? And they were like picturesque e-girls. We're talking like just the right type of dark skin, straight black hair, schoolgirl outfits, actually.
Actually.
And I was like, what the fuck? And then and they were actually, they were pretty cute, to be honest. But hold on.
I'm 90% sure that they were underage. Stop being a fucking pedo.
They seem like 22. They seem like 21, 22.
I don't know. I didn't pay them enough mind because I don't care about other human beings.
Fair enough. Anyway, the point is that they were clearly just in our seats, and they had their cameras out the whole show and their phones, and then they were taking pictures in the washroom later.
Yeah, that was weird.
You saw them in the washroom.
Yeah, I went to pee, and then I saw a flash while I was drying my hands, and I turned around and they had a digital camera. They were taking pictures of each other. I was like, the fuck.
Yeah. No, that is something among teenagers and early 20-somethings right now, is that old school digital cameras from when I was a teenager have come back.
All right.
Yeah. That's the new trend among the young Zoomers, is old school digital cameras.
All right.
Because they're hipster in the way that Polaroids were hipster for my generation.
See, listen, I understand Polaroids though, because it was still an instant picture. That's still cool.
Yeah.
You shake it and it's bad quality, but it's still an instant picture. That's still neat. Phone cameras are the same as digital cameras, except you have access to your gallery all the time.
Actually, I recall watching a Linus Tech Tips video, and Linus was like, I gave my kids my old digital camera from when I was in high school, because I don't really care if they break it. It's what a big deal. It's not a big deal. Just, you have fun, take pictures, And he realized that he actually made his kids the most popular kids in their grade. It's like, your dad got you a digital camera? Oh my god!
That's wild.
And he's like, I just gave you my old shit from when I was in high school, dude.
That's wild.
His kids are 11 or 12 or something, and now they're
crazy.
the talk of the school. There's lots of Seagulls around.
Yeah.
We didn't bring our popcorn with us, did we?
No, we ate it all.
Oh, that's right, we did.
We got one bag so we could share.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. That was kind of annoying, the fact that they were there.
Well, also,
and they were so fucking vain to have their stuff out all through the movie.
Also, just I would have said something, but we got in there so late.
Yeah, it was
there's no point. There's no point in fighting that.
Yeah. And also, this is gonna also sound kind of bad, but
just think about it first and say it in a less bad way.
I've thought about it. They did not seem like the kind of people who'd be smart enough to appreciate this movie. I'm gonna go on a full giga-brained intellect rant now, because this movie was actually a very good movie.
It was,
and it's clearly Oscar bait. Right?
Yeah, I think it's going to win many awards, many Oscars for anything, because it was wild.
You know what Oscar bait is, right?
Yes, I know what Oscar bait is.
It's that kind of very art, but it's an arty movie. It's also very high production value.
Yeah.
And
all the big names that just play minor roles.
All the big names, yeah. Life of Pi was an Oscar bait movie.
Yeah.
The King's Speech was an Oscar bait movie.
Yeah. The King's Speech was still good though.
Yeah. Well, no. The Oscar movies generally are very good, but you can tell they're we're putting everything into this one because we want to get awards.
They're very specific. It's very specific genre.
Yeah. And this movie, like The King's Speech, and like other movies like this, is that it's a historical drama. So it's mostly real.
Listen, this was a historical fever dream. That's what the honestly, I was
you give your take first. Go ahead.
I don't really have much of a take, because I do not actually know that much about the atomic bomb. I was learning a lot from this movie.
Okay.
I don't know that much about it. I didn't I knew the atomic bomb was a thing. I don't know if I already knew that Hitler had died before they bombed Hiroshima. I don't even know if I knew that. I did.
I think the Second World War went on for 6 months after the Germans surrendered.
Yeah, well, it did, because they said in the movie, and the part I did remember from many years ago, history lessons, was that the Japanese were just nah, we're gonna keep fighting you guys until we die, or we win. And so America was just well, here you go. Die then. And I don't know, I don't really have more of an opinion of the movie other than
Did you like it?
I did, but the whole thing just felt like a fever dream.
Why?
Just because of the way because of the pacing and the flash forwards / backs.
So here's the thing. Despite what everyone's saying, this movie isn't actually about the atomic bomb.
Not really.
No, the movie is about. I forget the name of the senator, played by Robert Downey Jr.
Stools.
Well,
that was his name.
Well, I don't remember his name. I just remember it was Robert Downey Jr. It's the senator, all right?
Stools. He wasn't a senator yet. He was trying to become
Oh, no,
a senator.
he wasn't a senator. He was trying to be appointed by the United States Senate to be a cabinet position in the executive branch.
What's...
You looking him up? Who does Robert Downey? Yeah. Stools. You actually look up like stools like you sit on.
Well, I don't know how to
Just
spell his name.
Look up Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Eisenhower. Oh my God, Oppenheimer.
Louis Strauss.
Louis Strauss. Okay.
I heard stools.
I think I heard Strauss actually.
I heard stools.
Anyway, Louis Strauss is trying to become some high-level position in the executive branch, which requires the Senate to interview him and then accept his appointment by the president. And that's how certain executive appointments work. That's how judicial appointments work to become on the Supreme Court. Basically, this was the next big step in his career. And so, the main plot of the movie, the frame, is that he's being interviewed for a whole bunch of different things about his history and his work.
Yeah.
And also his relationship to Oppenheimer, who made the atomic bomb, among many other things. He's... And here, by the way, there's gonna be some spoilers here. It's gonna be like out of order spoilers. So now I think about the end of the movie, because the start of the movie just doesn't make sense until the end of the movie.
Yep.
So like, I guess, spoiler warning. But at the end of the movie, I forget exactly who he was, but a guy who knew the real story came forward and said, "Look, this is how Strauss screwed over Oppenheimer."
He was a scientist.
Yeah.
That part I remember. I don't remember anyone's names.
Yeah. This is how Strauss screwed over Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And the Senate was like, "What the fuck, dude? Like, really?" And like, he revealed all the details, and then Strauss didn't get his appointment, and he was pissed off about it. And he was like, "How fucking dare you?"
Yeah.
Because Strauss had screwed over Oppenheimer.
Yeah, because he had been one of the first in a very long time to actually be denied the position. Like, this was supposed to be just formalities of him getting interviewed to be able to get the position. Yeah. Because they said that near the end of the movie that he was sure to get in because this is just how it goes.
Yeah, but the testimony from this guy about his involvement in the Oppenheimer affair was so. It was so damning that it destroyed his career.
Yep.
And then what I realized is that the actual main story of the movie is in black and white.
Yeah.
All the stuff regarding Strauss and the Senate hearings and...
Oppenheimer.
That was all in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And then, whenever that story cut back to other things that were being described, other stories, it would go to color.
Yeah.
And that's when you have Oppenheimer and all the scientists and everyone else who's in the movie. It was actually a surprising number of big name actors,
right? Yeah,
who were just there.
They were just very minor characters.
Yeah,
that's how you know it's Oscar bait.
So you asked me if it was him. I can't remember. Matt
Damon. Yeah.
Yeah. Matt Damon was the general involved in.
Was he a general? I have no idea what he was.
I think he was general. He was the main military guy involved at Los Alamos.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, that's... Yeah. Oh, no, I was thinking about the guy at the end who reminded me of DiCaprio.
And then there was Jack Quaid was there, and it's like a tiny role, throwaway role, but Jack Quaid's there as like a random kid scientist, one of the younger guys he recruits.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, and what's his name? The guy who did My Brain Has Gone.
Yep.
It's lost all the things.
Mm-hmm.
What's that famous Christmas movie about a family?
Home Alone?
No. About a family, specifically.
You mean National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Yes. Yeah. The main guy of that was in there.
Chevy Chase?
Yes.
I don't think he was. I think he's dead at this point.
No. Oh, no, it was Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell's not in this movie.
Yeah, no, he was a judge. Dude.
You gotta look. There's no fucking way either of those people are in this
judge. Movie. Yes.
Hold on. Here, just ask Siri on your phone.
I don't have Siri.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
Will Ferrell or Chevy Chase? Comedic actors in this? No!
Yeah, man. Doesn't say.
I guarantee you it's not.
Well, fine, it's not him. Fucking whatever. Jesus Christ.
I think it's just some other random person. Some other guy. Anyway, but there are a lot of actually big name actors that I didn't even know were in this movie. I didn't expect Robert Downey Jr. to be in this movie.
Yeah.
He was just kind of there, you know. The guy who played his aide, he played Han Solo in the terrible Han Solo movie, but he also played Jack the Savage in Brave New World. That TV show that we watched a few years ago.
I don't remember.
Remember watching that show? You loved it. Are you serious?
I remember nothing.
Are you fucking kidding me, Naomi?
No.
Okay. Here, Naomi, watch this back in a couple of years and see how much you remember of Oppenheimer.
I will remember none of it.
Okay, so anyway, the story itself, like, it's very disjointed because it's flashing back and forward constantly, and it's going between, like, there's like the main story, which is Strauss's trying to become get in this post, and then it turns out that, like, Strauss had discredited Oppenheimer by having his security clearance revoked. And
You don't find that out to the very end, though.
No, you don't. But Oppenheimer is being interrogated in the 1950s during the height of the Red Scare.
Yeah, see, that was the only annoying part, because, like, it would flash back to the black and white, and then it would flash back to, like, when they were building the bomb, which was, like, easy to, like, differentiate and distinguish.
Yep.
But then they would flash back to the black and white, and then also flash back to his hearing.
Yeah, in, like, the closet.
And I was just like, when is this? This is after? During?
You're supposed to pick it up based on the dialogue, and, like, this isn't, like, later, right? It's like, listen, so back when you were at Los Alamos, and he's like, yes, I was, and it flashes back again to Los Alamos.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the only part that was kind of confusing.
So, Strauss pulled the strings behind the scenes to get Oppenheimer to lose his security clearance during the height of the Red Scare.
Yeah.
And it was hidden up until the very end that it was him who had done that. Yeah. And the reason he did it is because Oppenheimer had made a fool of him in a prior hearing because he wanted to trade isotopes to Norway or something. It was a very technical kind of conversation. But basically, Strauss got made a fool of, and he was very vindictive, so he held the grudge for years and years, and he finally got Oppenheimer back by having his security license revoked by leaking a bunch of FBI files about him.
Yeah.
And that got out, and it was a
Giant
fucking
FBI file.
Yeah. And so what was the evidence that they actually used against him? Well, now we flash back to him actually making the bomb, because he was not an ideological communist, but he did attend Communist Party meetings.
Yeah, he wasn't like a communist sympathizer, but he almost was.
Here's the thing, because he's like, listen, I've read all 3 volumes of Marx's Capital. And then the guy's like, that's more than anybody else here at this Communist Party membership meeting, you know? Because, like, they were all just, like, dumb revolutionaries. And he's like, no, the reason that I'm not a communist is because I've actually read this. Which, by the way, that's why most people who were communists stop being communists. Because they actually read. Yeah. And then that one woman he ends up with for a little bit, like, she was ridiculous.
That was just incredibly annoying and didn't even feel like a real person.
Mm-hmm. He was like, well, I keep, like, you keep calling me, so I keep coming back to, like, hang out with you. And she was like, then don't answer me then. And I was like, oh my god, this is, like, a peak annoying woman here. Like, Jesus.
Like, she actually, like, she felt like your manic pixie dream girl, but, like, set back in the fucking 40s. And I was just like,
I think it was 20s at that point.
Oh, was it the 20s? No,
20s or 30s.
We'll say it's the 30s.
It wasn't the 40s yet.
Yeah. Because fuck that, she was annoying. I'm glad she died.
I just want to be able to reach out to you.
And also, she didn't want flowers. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I want to be able to reach out to you, and then if you want me around, then you should, like, because, like, she would kept being angry with him, but would fuck him. But then would, like, call him back and say, come by again.
It was so annoying.
And she expected him to just stop.
Yeah, she wanted a relationship with him, but only on her terms. And I was just like, listen, you can't have that as an adult.
But in any case, they first meet at this Communist Party meeting.
Yeah.
And she says, why aren't you a communist? And he's like, 'cause I'm educated in communism.
Also, and then we, like, immediately see her tits.
Yeah.
It's the only nudity in this movie is seeing this woman's tits. And I'm just like,
in several
why?
scenes, yeah. In several scenes. They're pretty good tits, too.
I mean...
They're pretty nice.
Are you telling
me you wouldn't?
No, man, listen, I disliked her so much that I was just like, no, I don't want to see this woman naked.
You wouldn't even hate fuck her?
No, she's so annoying.
You can shut her up, though.
Listen, if I wanted someone to yell at me about bringing them flowers, I would just yell at myself.
He says, I'm not a communist because I'm educated in communist theory. And she says, come on, you don't got to be educated in theory. You just got to have, like, the right vibe, man. She was very much like a, just...
That is not how that conversation went at all, but sure.
It's basically how it went. Because she was saying that forget about theory. What matters is that you have the right morals, is basically what she was saying.
Sure.
And it's like, and then he was like, well, no, that's not how it fucking works at all. And in fact, there's this dual thread running through the movie of the idea of theory versus practice, because Oppenheimer, like the main
he's a theorist.
The main conflict at the university is that he's a theorist, and like his next door neighbor is actually like building a particle accelerator, and like they're or like a very primitive one anyway. But they're like, they end up being friends, but he's the theory side and he's the practice side. Shut up. They had like a little rivalry, but not really. It seemed like it was going to build up to a rivalry, but it actually wasn't. They were actually just friends.
Did it seem like it was going to build up to a rivalry?
So. Yeah, I think it did.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, but they were just friends. So, but they were definitely working together, and the idea was that like theory is important, but eventually you have to test things out.
Yeah.
Right. And that flows very well into the political side of the movie because a lot of the Communist Party USA members, they're all very theory oriented. They say, you know what, there's social problems in the United States, we need to fix them, and so they're like ideological communists, but they're not necessarily like actually aligned with the Soviet Union where they've actually put it into practice, and it's like a fucking terrible situation.
Yeah.
So there's those two through lines going through the movie, and they both kind of converge in the idea of theory versus practice, and it fits with physics, and it fits with communism.
Quantum physics.
Yes, quantum physics. I mean, the story is basically out of the historical record. You know, he gets contacted by United States military, and Oppenheimer makes the recommendation that they build a secret facility at Los Alamos, which was like land that he and his brother hung out on when they were kids, and he liked going back there, even though he was living, you know, on the East Coast. And he said, you know what? Here, we're gonna do it all in secret, okay? You're gonna build me a town, not just a research facility, but a whole ass town out here. And the general's like, why build a town? He says, well, because if you want the very best scientists to come, you have to make sure they can bring their families. So you need an industry.
They can operate at their best.
Yeah. So then you need a school for the kids. You need a church for everyone to go to it every Sunday. You need shops. Like, you need to build a full community out here. And then we'll bring in all the best physicists from across the United States. I think they even got some people from overseas.
Yeah, they did. Like a few.
And we'll bring them in. Now, Oppenheimer, he was in Germany. And he left Germany because of the anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
So he pointed out that he knew a lot of the German physicists and that they would be working on the bomb and that they were very intelligent. And this is one thing that I've read from multiple sources, is that like when it came to science, they like the members of the international community were all pretty chill about it, and politics was like a secondary concern, but it wasn't to the politicians, right?
Yeah.
So for example, Heisenberg probably didn't hate the Jews.
No.
He probably still always maintained a respect for Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
But he was stuck in Germany. Oppenheimer's in the States. This is just how the game is played.
Well, there was a scene where those two met, and I think it was hinted at that, like, Heisenberg actually had a lot of respect for Oppenheimer, but, like, this was when the Nazi thing was kind of starting-ish.
And you couldn't really, like, say it, yeah.
Yeah, but no, because he had said, like, well, if I inspire anything else, let's do a paper together, right? But like they have lingered very long on them looking at each other.
Yeah.
So I think this was when like Nazism was really like starting to become more about anti-Semitism. So
that's about right. Yeah.
I think.
No, that's about right. Yeah. And that's when he meets like the American Jewish guy, and he's like, listen, we're not very welcome here, you know. Yeah. He's like, what? He's like, you know, he said, our kind isn't welcome. And he says, what, physicists? I think the whole conceit of Oppenheimer's character is that he's very arrogant. He's very brilliant, like incredibly intelligent.
Yeah.
But someone even says that like he wasn't very wise at all, right? He had no idea about optics or politics or making relationships. He was just like...
He was just himself.
Yeah. He was singularly concerned about his work and did not care about any wider games that were being played. Which, I mean, to be honest, is like a genius trope that you see pretty common.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I like how he's just... I don't know if you guys could hear that. I like how he's just slowly cruising by on his motorcycle with the music playing as loud as possible. Like, I'm in my midlife crisis, yeah. So, anyway.
Kind of.
Anyway, they get Los Alamos up and running. They go through the trials and tribulations of building a bomb. They theorize, I read this a long time ago, so it's actually kind of funny to see it in there. They theorize that there's a very small chance that the chain reaction could ignite the hydrogen in Earth's atmosphere and just burn it off, like just a big wave of fire burning all the air.
I think it's wild that they still did it. Like, that's actually insane. They could have just killed the entire planet.
Well, it was a non-zero chance, but it was still pretty close to zero.
Non-zero.
We do lots of things with a non-zero chance of failure.
Not killing the entire world. That's a different circumstance.
They're like, it might happen, it's fine, just nuke them.
Yes, us and everyone else. Sure, that's a great idea.
It worked out, didn't it?
This is like the fucking, like, actual, like, hero trope is, why would I want to save the world? Because I live on it, you idiots!
Oh, fuck. So, this is why I think the movie's not actually about the atomic bomb, because they set the bomb off halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
Like, at the halfway point, the bomb goes off, and then, like, Los Alamos is over. Like,
Yeah.
like it's not really about the bomb.
No.
The bomb goes off.
That was a beautiful moment, though, when the bomb went off. Like not a beautiful, like, moment of the bomb going off, but, like, a movie. Like, it was a beautiful movie moment.
Yeah.
Like, it was really good.
Yeah, because, like, it's just, like, there's no sounds.
Just
and
him
it's just,
breathing.
It's him breathing and watching the explosion.
Yeah.
And
honestly, it's beautiful.
And
the explosion
realizing
itself is, like,
you're
gorgeous.
a fucking weirdo.
No, listen!
Naomi the pyromaniac.
Yes! Fire is pretty.
Naomi's gonna be the one staring at fire like, yes, burn.
Burn my enemies into ash.
Just furiously masturbating.
No. Aesthetically masturbating.
Aesthetically. So the bomb goes off and you hear the I am become death, destroyer of worlds from the Hindu scripture. Which is something that he actually did say when it happened.
Yeah.
But the bomb went off, and then, like, the shockwave event, everyone's like, whoa!
Yeah, like, it was a really...
And then 2 minutes later, the shockwave hits, and they just get blown back.
Yep.
One idiot goes outside, he's like, ah!
That was funny.
Like, one fucking moron. And after the bomb, though, the government kind of discards Oppenheimer. They're like, well, you have the bomb now, so, thanks, buddy. And they go off and they nuke Japan.
Well, I think that was, like, there was so much dissent between the government and scientists in the entire movie.
Yep.
I have no idea if that's better or worse in the modern age.
Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Who knows? But, yeah,
Probably the same.
I remember they didn't show the nuking of Japan, but
No.
they showed them reacting to the
A
damage.
slideshow, yeah. They showed them reacting to pictures of, like, after, like, this was, like, a long time after it had gone off, too.
Yep.
Like, a while, like, they were just like, here's the damages, here's, you know, and it was just, like, and, like, Oppenheimer's just there, like, just, like,
Yeah.
dead. His soul is dying.
Yeah. There's a scene where he goes into the gym.
Oh man, that was
at
good.
Los
That was
Alamos.
so
Yeah.
good. It was such a good scene.
It's probably the centerpiece of the movie. He goes into the gym, and that's why you keep hearing the thumps of all their feet.
Yeah.
You hear it all over the movie because
Yeah.
it was like this is like the core of the movie.
Yeah.
He goes into the gym at Los Alamos, and everyone in town is there.
Yeah.
And he's giving a speech. He's giving this jingoistic speech about, you know, he only wishes that he could have nuked the Germans too.
Yeah.
And how, you know, I bet the Japs didn't like it and all this.
But he didn't say Japs.
No, but still, you could see that it was like.
He was a very respectable man. Don't make him
Yeah.
a racist like you.
Listen, the jingoism of 1945 had a lot of racism in it. Okay, it absolutely did.
I understand that, but he didn't say any of it.
Anyway, the point is that
Probably because movie would get canceled if they did.
maybe, but actually, I have to say, it kind of did get canceled. Actually, I'll tell you about it
did it?
after. Yeah, but basically, there's this scene where he's tasked with giving this very patriotic, like,
Yes, speech.
America, fuck yeah, speech.
Yeah.
And he tries to do it.
He is.
But
No, he does do it.
He does do it, but he's like
But during the speech.
yeah, he's so obviously racked with guilt
Yeah.
about everything that, like, you can like. I don't know if you noticed that, like, the background around him was like shifting because he was like trying to find his words.
Well, no,
and,
they were shifting because of the explosions.
Yeah, it was like rumbling because of like the rumble. Yeah, and then he saw like lights, like the bomb going off in the room.
Yeah.
And he saw like the people's like the people in the room who were all cheering, like their skins flaking off and stuff.
Yeah, he was pretty much reliving exactly what, like he was watching what happened to the people of Hiroshima, just like in this gym, like when the bomb goes off. Like there wasn't like a giant explosion, just the after effects of like it not directly hitting the gym, but it hitting and then like the after shocks
like
and everything
everyone
else.
was like everyone was like cheering as they were dying. That kind of thing. Well, that's the thing. Like that's a pretty common trope among a lot of movies that are about the atomic bomb, is that you see like skeletons laughing and clapping, and like people who are like very nationalistic and very like, yes, let's kill all of our enemies, and they're like decaying in front of your eyes. You see that all over the place. Like you see it all over in movies with the atomic bomb. But they did it here, and they did it well.
Oh, it was very well done. Yeah.
And he's like, and he's very clearly racked with guilt.
Yeah, like he feels so bad. I just wanted to give him, like, for the last half of the movie, I just kind of wanted to give him a hug.
Yeah, because he spends that point onward including basically letting Strauss destroy him.
Yeah.
He spends it all just letting it happen because he feels so guilty about what happened with the atomic bomb.
And also, like, trying to be like, we do not need more atomic bombs. Please stop making so many of them.
Yep. And they were saying that makes you a communist sympathizer.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
But yeah, basically, at the end of the movie, his wife even says, like, you don't, like, you think that, like, just letting them destroy you will make it better, and it won't.
Yeah.
And he's like, maybe it will.
We'll see.
That's basically, like, that's his whole thing, is that he just feels so guilty about it. He meets with the president, all right?
Oh, fuck.
He meets with President Truman.
I wanted to punch the president so badly.
And he says, well, to be fair, though, I think Truman also felt bad about it, too, in real life. But they made him out to be an asshole in this movie.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure, I hope, at least, that President Truman, in real life, felt just as guilty
Well, because, yeah, he said...
as Oppenheimer did in this film. Because if he was just like that in real life, then I would have punched him in the face. I really would have.
So... Oppenheimer says to Truman that he feels like he has blood in his hands, and then Truman pulls out his handkerchief, and it's a white handkerchief, and he waves
at him.
He waves at him, so it looks like a surrender flag.
Yeah, condescendingly.
Yeah, he waves at him. But then he also makes a very good point that he gave the order to drop the bomb, not Oppenheimer. And I think in real life, Truman was also like very, very somber about it. He's like, no, we just killed a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they go over the moral calculus of it. It's like, well, Japan won't surrender, and it will take way more lives.
Yeah. To
actually invade
it and
to
take
invade
it
Japan
over.
and take it over. Yes.
Yeah.
It will take way more lives. So we should nuke them. And conventional bombing wasn't working because they were already bombing Tokyo, and it wasn't making them surrender. And Oppenheimer rightfully points out in the meeting with the Secretary of War, he says, listen, it's not that many people dead, if you're just talking numbers. We've killed more people in the war already. But the fact that the survivors are going to see a giant column of fire going up into the sky thousands of feet, it will be demoralizing psychologically. It's not about how many you kill or about what infrastructure you destroy.
Yeah.
It's about showing them what you can do.
Yeah.
And that is what ultimately led Japan to surrender.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I fully saw the cold calculating logic in that scene, and I was like, fuck, I agree, this sucks.
Yeah. And even Matt Damon was like, listen, we're going to nuke two cities.
Yep.
One, to show them that we can do it, and two, to show them we can do it many times.
We can keep doing it.
Yeah. And then, hopefully by two, they'll surrender. But we're going to do two.
Yeah.
And that was the plan. Is they did one on one day, then one on the other day.
Yeah.
And they did surrender. And, in retrospect, things worked out pretty much.
I mean, I guess.
We got anime out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
We got anime out of it.
Yeah.
All the radiation. It's actually funny because people were like, somebody correlated all the radioactive sites in the world, and then like the Pornhub search terms on those places like 50 years plus later, and it was all like the most degenerate fucking shit of anywhere else in the world.
Surprise me.
And it's like, oh, is that what radiation does? It leads to sexual dysfunction. It's really funny. And they did like Japan, they did like Chernobyl, and like the downstream effects of Chernobyl, like certain places in the States where they were testing things. It was really funny. But in any case, the second half of the movie is kind of it's a continuation of the, not trial, but it really is a trial of Oppenheimer and how he's
that was incredibly just closet trial.
Yep.
That wasn't supposed to be a trial.
Well, no, because it was a hearing to determine whether or not his security clearance should be renewed in the face of and then someone came up and was like, hey, didn't you have all this stuff, like your brother was part of the Communist Party and you attended these meetings and you fucked that girl and then you left Los Alamos when you didn't have clearance to go and fuck the girl again. And he didn't seem to tell her anything. Like the communist girl? No.
He didn't.
He just like she just wanted to fuck him.
She committed suicide.
Yeah, afterwards she killed herself, so.
I was kind of happy.
Yeah, he was like, listen, I'm doing this bomb thing. He didn't say it because he couldn't tell her. He was like, listen, I'm doing a thing that you can't know about and I can't see you anymore. And she was like, but you said you'd always come see me even though I never actually committed to you.
Yep.
And he's like, well, you know what? You fucking shoulda.
Jesus. Yeah.
Pretty much, like, I felt no sympathy for her.
Nope.
She was such a fucking, oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway. It'd be kind of neat to see if someone recut this movie.
Chronologically?
Chronologically. Because like,
I would watch that.
The thing is, like, have you seen Memento? Memento is like the movie everyone talks about when you talk about a chronologically out of sync movie. Mm-hmm. And it's a really good movie. But if you cut it in order, I've seen the cut where it's all in order, it's fucking boring. Because everything good about that movie comes from the fact that he has like a some sort of amnesia where like his mind resets every 2 minutes.
It's mysterious because it's out of order.
So like a scene starts, and he's like, why am I doing this? Like there's one scene he starts in the middle of a chase scene. He's like, why am I running? You know, but he has to run. And then like it gets to the end of the previous scene, and then it goes back, and then it gets to the end of the last scene, and it goes back, and like you play backwards through the movie, the whole movie. But the actual movie itself, if you play it in order, is really boring because the entire fun stuff of the movie is figuring out what's going on each scene.
I don't know if this movie would be boring in chronological order.
I don't think it would be. I
think it would be like slightly less suspenseful for the hearing. Mm-hmm. Well, both hearings.
Yeah. This is like several like recursive layers of flashback,
Yeah.
Well, here's the interesting thing, all right? Because with Memento, the only conceit is that it's out of order, so it makes you figure it out. It makes you wonder what's going on. However, what makes this movie a really good out of order timeline, like out of order movie, is that it still feels like it's in order in a sense.
Yeah, weirdly enough. Yeah.
Because even though it's not in order chronologically, it's in order emotionally.
It's like how I tell a story. I'm just like, I will be currently telling the story today's day and age. Like, oh, no, well, you have to know about this. Wait, but to know about this, you have to know about that. It's like how I tell a story, which is not very good. This is a good movie. I know I don't tell stories very well. This is a good movie. I'm just saying it reminds me of that.
Yeah. So there's definitely like, there's definitely instances, right, where something is mentioned, and then it cuts back to that thing. Not because it's somehow in order chronologically, but because it makes sense in the emotional narrative to do so.
Yep.
Like, at the start of the movie, Einstein and Oppenheimer have a very private conversation.
Yep.
And we're not revealed what that conversation is to the final scene of the movie.
Yep, that was the final scene.
And it's because that made sense emotionally.
Yep.
Because Strauss's failure, right, was all based, he's like, Oppenheimer went to Einstein and said something about me, and it fucking made him hate me.
Yep.
And then the,
assistant.
Yeah, the Han Solo guy was like, it probably wasn't about you. And then it cuts back to what the conversation actually was about.
Yep.
And actually, it was kind of about him, to be honest. But not really. It was about...
It was about him in an abstract way.
Yeah, it was about the politics he represents.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why Einstein looked at him dirtily when he left, I think.
He didn't look at him at all. That was the point.
He gave him like a side eye.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Nope. There was no side eye. Like, he was just stone-faced, like, ignored him. Which is why he was so insulted.
Okay. Well, in any case... a lot of the flashbacks, they don't make sense chronologically, but they make sense emotionally. Because the emotional through arc of the movie, it jumps around, but things are brought up when it's relevant for them to be brought up in terms of the other stories. And like it all fits. Even though it's not chronological, it all fits together very well. You know what? It was definitely a very good movie.
Oh, you want to know what I will say? One of my opinions about the movie? It's made me even more child-free than I already am.
Yeah, well, because of all the crying of the kids? Oh my god.
Like, there was no happy children in this movie. Except for, like...
lots of crying babies.
A couple of, like, crowd scenes where, like, there's, like, happy kids. But, like, Oppenheimer did not have a solid family life.
No.
And his wife was a little bit crazy. Just a little bit.
By the end, she was actually pretty solid.
No.
Yeah.
Listen.
Remember when she was being cross-examined during the hearing? She was like... She, like, stood up for him.
No, listen, she was a badass, like, the entire time. But, like, I don't know if I would actually want to hang out with a woman like that. I don't know if I want to hang out with anyone like that in real life.
When the child was young, she was just getting drunk at home and, like, hating her life.
Well, yeah, she was definitely an alcoholic, like, 100%.
Yep.
Like, even his lawyer, like, looked at her...
It's like, come on, dude.
Thing falling out of her bag, and he was just like, I'm not putting her up on the stand.
Yeah. However... later in life, she was like, Oppenheimer, why aren't you defending yourself? What the fuck are you doing? And then, like, she defended him, and she did a very good job of it. Like,
she really did. That was a good moment.
I think she came into her own, like years, in her middle age, basically.
When the children were older, because many women don't like babies.
Yeah. Well, you know what I've noticed? Like, there's a stereotype that guys don't like babies either, and they generally don't. But, like, guys tend to warm up to kids when they're, like, 4. Because then they can actually talk.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, this is interesting. There's a little guy. I can talk to him. You know? And he has, like, ideas. You know? That's pretty normal.
because the really hard part of parenting generally comes for the sleepless nights and whatnot.
Yeah. Which is why I don't understand why so many people want to, like, adopt babies rather than adopt, like, 5 or 6 year olds, you know? I don't get it.
Because you can, like, make sure, like, you can mold babies pretty easily, you know? Like, I know there's, like, that whole entire conversation about nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, it's, in my personal perspective, it's 50-50-ish most of the time. Like, there's a lot of things you can't change, but there's a lot of things you can, and if you have a baby, you're more likely to have more positive change if you want that.
Or negative.
Well, depending on the type of parent you are, yeah.
I mean, I get that, yeah. But it just seems like if you're adopting, if one of the reasons that you would adopt is to skip over the terrible 2s and terrible 3s, you figured that you would actually skip them.
Yeah, I know, but like when you're children who are 4 are actually kind of their own person at that point. Like, they're still, like, very naive, and, like, they're not, like, a fully formed human being, but they generally have a pretty distinct personality by that point.
Yeah. It's gonna change as they get older, but yeah.
Yeah, you know, but
I know, like after school starts, kids tend to socialize themselves more than parents do.
Yeah.
Like, socialize each other, the kids.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah. This is not related to the movie. Anyway,
no, at all.
So, Oppenheimer. Really good movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I know, like...
You got 3 hours to spare.
I got 3 hours to spare. I know Redditor Media really
I will say that
theirs.
this felt like a 3-hour movie.
I don't think so. I think time flew when I was watching this.
Okay. I think you just enjoyed the movie more than I did.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's more political, and I'm more oriented that way. Yeah. So Redditor Media said that, like, it was a movie that was just all talking scenes and nothing else, and yet it had the loudest fucking Christopher Nolan soundtrack just blaring on it, like, brah. And it's like, you're just sitting in a room talking. They released, like a funny joke video, Redditor Media, where it's, like, an old black and white all-talk scene for, like, a 1950s movie, just with, like, a blah soundtrack over it. And it looks so ridiculous. And to be honest, the soundtrack was too loud again. Like, there were some moments where it was just so loud in the movie.
One of the really, really good soundtrack moments in the movie was actually when the bomb went off. I don't know if you noticed, but there was, like, crazy violin and extra violin going on in the background.
Yep.
Like, it was like doing this.
Yeah.
It was
Jazz hands?
No, it was like freaking out. Like everyone was so nervous, and like the violins were going crazy, and then it was just silence, and I was like, that. It's so good.
Yep.
It was good. It was too loud, but there was a lot of really good soundtrack moments, and that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head, but like there was a lot of really good soundtrack moments.
Yeah, I think so too. The final thing to talk about then is the Twitter controversy.
No, I don't know anything about that.
And you know what? Now that I've seen the movie, I'm gonna even do like a politics of Oppenheimer video on the main channel.
Oh.
Just because the Twitter controversy that this started was
there not enough black people?
No, it was that
there was none.
It downplayed the effects of the bomb on Japan, the movie. Even though you can see the guilt in Oppenheimer's face the whole fucking time. But like the idea is that, like, America is a world hegemon now, and it's an imperialist power, and to look at wars through the lens of good versus evil is naive, and it in fact plays into American imperialism, and that the bombing of Japan, the atomic bombs, was like a crime against humanity that America will never be punished for, and you can't make the claim that America was like more morally superior than its enemies. And of course, this is all coming from like socialist revolutionaries who just want to discredit the idea that America could ever do anything good ever. And it was and like we got to a point where you had like very far left people who were like sympathizing with Imperial Japan, and even a few craziest nuggets in there sympathizing with Nazi Germany. Even though they were far left, and apparently the Nazis are far right. And it's just like, okay, so this is the horseshoe where you guys connect at the bottom, right? Like, this is what's going on here. Basically the idea that, like, America evil, therefore America's enemies good. And the reason that we think this is not even necessarily because we think this, but because the common politics of the day that normies believe is that America good and America's enemies evil. So in order to actually achieve a true balance, we must believe that America evil and America's enemies are good.
No.
So it's almost like a woke justification for being pro-Nazi in the face of American hegemony in 2023. It's going to be a great video, by the way, when I make it.
Jesus.
if I ever make it.
I mean, I think on that particular subject, I don't agree with the Twitter controversy at all. But I did kind of enjoy the fact that the movie played into what seemed to me... Oh, fuck, now I had it in my head. What's that called? Mob... It's a mob something.
Mob mentality?
Thank you. Fuck me. I hate myself. Mob mentality. I liked how it kind of played into that with, like, a large... Like, some of the scientists, not all of them, some of the scientists being just so fucking sad. So sad. But then a whole bunch of other scientists and, like, the normies on the base,
they're all, like, cheering. Like, yeah!
They're all just going crazy. And, like, and especially with the speech that Oppenheimer was giving, like, he was racked with guilt. But, like, everyone in the audience was just like, yeah, fuck, we just killed so many people. It's amazing. It's great. And then he walks outside afterwards, and it's just sad scientist after sad scientist.
Yeah.
Like, there's one throwing up, like,
yeah, and then later, and then
tears.
later they try to show, like, later on, they try to pin Oppenheimer's reluctance on the fact that he's like a socialist sympathizer or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you can just not like the fact that you killed a lot of people. It doesn't have to be anything ideological.
Yeah, like I liked how they touched on that a little bit, because I was just like, man, it's crazy how they're all just so happy that they're yeah, you guys are gonna kill a shit ton of people. Woo, good job, you know. And like I think that's when Oppenheimer realized it, like because right at that scene, like right after the scene where the bomb went off, like he's just kind of standing there, and the rest of the scientists and some of the soldiers are like cheering because they're at the bomb site. They're all just cheering. They're so happy.
Everyone's like shaking his hand.
Yeah, but like they were cheering because they completed this thing that they didn't even know if it was going to be possible. But Oppenheimer was not that happy. Like he was happy for a little bit. He was really happy, like right at the end, like just like. I guess, like, letting himself go in the moment.
Because everyone's cheering on him. Like, everyone's, like, packing his back and stuff,
But then afterwards, he's just sad.
Yeah, he's just sad for the rest of the timeline.
Yep.
And
I was just like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. You can be sympathetic towards everyone who died and believe that it was a tragic event that had to happen.
Yeah.
And also not hate America.
Yeah.
And not be a fucking communist revolutionary.
I like how Albert Einstein was just like, well, if they don't like you, just fucking leave. That's what I did.
Alright, speaking of leaving, I think we're done. That was Oppenheimer. Good movie.
You have 3 hours to watch it. Go watch it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Though to be honest, if you've watched this far into this video, you've probably already seen it. So.
I mean, maybe.
Well, we said spoilers at the start. Like, they spoiled the whole thing for me.
What you need to do is, like, before these movie reviews, just, like, do a flashing neon, like, spoilers, and just have it go, like, all over the screen, so that way people can't complain if they don't realize there's no spoilers. Right at the beginning.
Yeah.
That'll be our intro with spoilers.
Alright, guys, we're gonna get out of here. See ya.
Bye.
Oh, you know what we didn't talk about in the vlog, Naomi? That one scene where, like, Oppenheimer is suddenly naked in the hearing room, and the girl is riding him and looking at his wife, and he's being interrogated about him cheating on her, and she just visualizes the cheating happening right there. That was a weird scene. I think because she looked at him and then she like looked down because she was disturbed by what she saw. She saw it too. It was a very weird scene. I mean, they're clearly just doing a guilt thing there, but
Christopher Nolan is obsessed with dreams.
Yeah.